I could almost swear that it's Ray sitting across the
Change of plans, everyone. It's not Sophia's Chrysalis. It's just a one-shot for Ray. One punch, one kill.
That'd be interesting.
I miss her sometimes because Sophia, whenever I play her, I have to be like up like this, and Ray, it's just my posture was terrible when I was Ray though.
I wouldn't know,
but it was very relaxing. Hello, people.
Hi. It's the last one.
I know.
How do you feel about being last?
I feel pretty good.
It is Kung Fu Fenris.
I did not watch the other two because, well, I tried to watch Kate's, but there was too much buffering at my house. So, but then I thought it's probably a good thing. I will watch them all together when they're all done. So I'm not influenced by other people's experiences.
Kung Fu Fenris complaining about House Danan and then ends up as House Danan. Mistrich wants a dog.
What kind of dog?
Yeah, what are you looking for, Mistrich? Hello, Lemon Eater. Got a bunch of people filtering in. We're gonna, as with the other Crystal sessions, we'll vamp for a few minutes to give people a chance to pull themselves in on this one.
Oh.
Well, of course, Miss Rich, but what are you looking for?
Yeah, what kind? Or are you just waiting for the connection to happen?
Like, for instance, when I've looked for dogs, they've always been small dogs. Not tiny dogs, but small dogs.
Molly!
Always around kind of, 10 kilograms or less.
Just small.
Yeah. Molly's like 8 kilograms, I think.
So cute.
20 to 40, so a medium. Merladerg! But that's just because when I was a kid, I used to ride a lot in very long car rides with a dog. And when you're riding in a long car
And the bigger the dog,
yeah,
the more
because we were
squished
3
it
of us
is.
in the back seat, and then the dog. So,
How would that even work?
the dog would just run around on our
I was
laps.
going to say, was the dog in a crate?
Dog is not in a crate, and dog is not in a seat, which probably is not the safest. But
It just means that if somebody has to slam on the brakes suddenly, dog's like, ah! Or scratch, 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 scratch.
I'm not on the dog market, and I love all dogs. Dogs.
Dogs.
As opposed to dags.
I woke up at 2 a.m. the other night, and Ella had just walked onto my throat. Like, fully. I think she's trying to kill me.
Probably.
It's like, she's so big and heavy. And so it was a lot of weight.
So what do you do when you wake up with that? Like, did you just sit bolt upright and launch her
I was
across
just
the
like,
room?
well, no, because luckily, I don't know what, but I have the presence of mind to realize that there are claws very near, so that I just have to go.
I don't think I've ever been
pretty much-
choked out by a cat
Pretty
before.
much what happened.
Most
Yeah.
I've ever had is waking up to see Ella lying like directly on top of my head.
Yeah, she likes that. She likes
Yeah.
lying in the hat pose.
Because I have occasionally taken care of Ella. So yeah, yeah.
Doggies, please post photos or tell us all about it when you find your new friend. I'm very invested in this.
Kung Fu Fenris, I believe that you already got the most important proportion of Braum correct, so I wouldn't worry.
Everything about Braum is enormous.
Except his ego.
I think his ego's getting bigger. The more women fall in love with him, it's getting there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we've been getting some great fan art in. I'm looking forward to revamping the fan art section at the opening and closing of the show. Of course, for today, it was just all Sophia all the time.
All me. How are you all doing? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right?
It is Wednesday.
It feels weird.
So the cool stuff is that today is the third of 3 Chrysalis sessions that we are providing to you because of you. Because of your donations. When we were marching to Marathon, that really helped. But it meant we still have 1 camera to go. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We actually have it in our possession. We need the connectors for it.
Well, it was your help and your support that made that happen. So this is our way of saying, hey, thanks, have more stuff of our faces.
Of course, we do have the podcast sessions and the one-shot
Yep.
that Scott's going to run. It's the Crosshair! Oh man, for a Chrysalis session, I get to welcome a mod. I haven't done that yet. The other Chrysalis sessions were modless. But today, we get to salute Entropy's Disciple. The Crosshair is in. Hashtag Scottshot.
Oh, my wrist is
Oh
sore
wait, there's a
from boxing.
doggo? Okay, hold on. Let's have a
Ah.
look at this doggo.
Too many left hooks.
That's a very cute doggo. Here we go. I'm going to show you this doggo.
Yes, please.
It's coming at you.
Oh, smiley doggo. Oh. I love the ones that look like they're smiling all the time like that.
Molly does not always look like she's smiling,
No.
but
Molly's tail is always wagging, which is adorable.
Molly gets excited. But she's not like a hyper dog.
Sometimes she is.
Well, she
When someone arrives at the door.
yeah,
or
she's
rings them
happy
up.
when people arrive at the door, but she's not the sort of person who drops. Like, she's not always skittering around.
No.
Lived to 17. It's a good age. My first dog lived to a ripe old age as well. It's a good thing that dogs do. So here's to you, doggos. But we're actually here to focus on you today. So that's true, but there's been 2 other Chrysalis sessions. This is the 3rd. This is the final one. The other ones are available up on YouTube already. This one will be thrown up there. I'm going to mention this at the beginning of the stream and at the end of this stream, but we do have another event coming up on Friday. And this is leading into Punchy. Between 10 and 6 p.m., 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., we are going to be doing an Extra Life charity stream for Montreal Children's Hospitals. We're going to be playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate the day it comes out with a whole bunch of guests coming in. We got a lot of people who are going to swing by. So it'll be worth tuning in the whole day and throwing down some donations for the kiddies.
For the kitties. For the childlings.
Let's talk about fucking.
Oh. Don't make love. What's...
Don't Make Love was the game about praying mantises
Oh, yeah.
that we're gonna bone.
I'm very sorry to be missing so much of the Friday stream, but I'm happy to be there for the first hour and a half
See, there you go.
before I have to go to work at noon and secretly watch from work.
There you go. But we're gonna be going. We have people throughout the day, so we're pleased and happy, and so that will be happening. But until then, we've got this, and Punchy is still up. Punchy is still happening.
Punchy's still happening because I'm going to be missing at least 1, but possibly 2 weeks of Punchy right around Christmas time. So I wanted to get in all the punching I could before that time.
Yeah. So we'll be throwing over to you in God of War.
Yes, which we might be almost at the end of. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Gasp.
I know.
What if you are?
I know. I don't have another game set up, so I really hope it's not like 5 minutes in and we finish the game. That's happened to Kate and I a few times.
If that happens, you should just Jackbox it.
You're gonna say you should just jack it.
Well, you could just do that too.
In terms of my terms of service, no.
But you could just jackbox it if you get really boned.
This is true.
You can just throw that on there.
This
People will jackbox with you. Or you could just call me up and be like, John,
fix it.
And I'll
You'll be
just like sprint
what?
over and we'll just smash.
Topical. Well done, Kung Fu.
This isn't Tumblr. So, have you been looking forward to this?
I have been. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. When I'm crafting a character. Oh my God, no! Here it goes. That's it. We've lost him. We've lost him. When I'm creating a character, I'm not one of those people who really maps out every single detail of their backstory. So I usually have a rough idea, but I don't go into it too much. And then as the campaign progresses, I add things. So this is going to be one of those instances where I do not have a super clear idea of how Sophia's Chrysalis happens, but I can't wait to find out what is what. Got me in the gooch.
Whoa, got me in the gooch.
Right in the gooch.
Right in the gooch. I think it was right in the gooch. I'm not sure if it was got me. We'll have to go to the tape. But I don't like the fact that it's quoted as me as opposed to like a character I'm playing. No, it's me.
No, it was. I'm pretty sure it was you, John. You know what you did. I hope what you said.
I hope what you said. Right in the gooch. Oh.
Right in the gooch.
I don't think I've ever,
you can't. Oh yeah, you can check it. It's on the VOD. It's just not on YouTube yet because
I don't think I've ever referred to that area as that. Anyway, so as I'm sure that you've noticed, right there, it looks like we're starting this in 1996 at the Canadian Embassy in Stockholm. Why do you think that is? I wouldn't care to comment.
Is this a question to the audience or a question to me?
Both of you? Oops, that's not what I want.
I think we're traveling. I think I am there on some kind of trip. And Angel Wick graduated high school in 96, so I think we're in Stockholm celebrating that fact.
I mean, it's a good time to party down.
Yeah.
I did see the sign, and it opened up my eyes. So what's your name?
My name is Sophie. Last name Aisling.
How old are you in 1996?
I am 6 years old. A wee one.
Did you say that you're a happy child?
Yes.
Why?
Because I have a loving family who encourages my artistic pursuits. And I have a very active imagination.
When you say that you have a loving family,
Yeah.
who are your family?
So my mom and my dad, and I have an older brother.
Okay. How much older is your brother?
He is 3 years older than me.
And what's his name?
His name is Eric.
So Eric Aisling.
Yeah.
And Sophie Aisling.
Yeah.
You have your mom and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of friends?
Not too many, to be honest.
Why not?
I think people think I'm a little weird. I'm homeschooled, so I don't actually see kids my own age all that often. And when I do, I don't really know how to like relate to them, things that they're interested in, and they don't seem to be interested in the stuff I like. So yeah, I don't have too many friends.
Well, we're going to start today, it's the summertime.
Oh.
Unlike the other two chrysalises, we're starting in the summertime. And at the moment, you are finishing up a trip, and your parents are trying their absolute best to make sure that the family stays positive. Unfortunately, your mother lost her purse, and as a result, lost her passport. Of course, without your passport, it makes it very difficult for you to travel. So, needless to say, you have to make your way over to the Canadian Embassy, try to get things sorted out, prove that you are who you say you are, so that you can return home. The embassy is right in the middle of Stockholm. And have you ever been to Sweden?
Nope, I have not.
So, has any of you there in the chat been to Sweden? I'm willing to wager that there's probably at least one of you who has.
Yes.
So, Sweden is gorgeous in the summer. Like, seriously, one of the places that I really would like to go in the summer. They all suck.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the feud.
Gorgeous in the summer, and unfortunately, you have to spend this part of it inside in a building with a very serious-looking man who is standing guard in a room with only one or two other families, one of whom has a kid who is around your age. He's a boy, and he's got very big glasses on, right? Like, you know how for little kids, they'll always have overly large glasses because, you know, like they just want to be able to see everything, and they're made of plastic, and like they sort of pull onto the face because otherwise they'll just break them all. And he is sitting down, and he's playing with a truck, which he's just pushing back and forth. It's made out of wood, brightly painted. Not like Thomas the Tank Engine or anything like that, just like a very classic children's toy. And from the outside, you can hear music that's being played in the street, but it's so drowned out by the various people who are talking in the building. And of course, they're not speaking in what, you know, is a really fascinating listen at a foreign language, or even the English language, but with the accent that you're not necessarily used to. But everybody here is just dull and Canadian. All of your stuff is still in the hotel room. And your father has his notebook out, his ever-present notebook. And his eyes never seem to focus on the page, even as he's writing. And his writing's never been that fascinating because a lot of it has to do with language that's just very complicated. And it's not entirely sure what a poet is, but your dad's fond of saying that his job is to say the most complicated things in as few words as possible. Fucking
Safe to say she has not learned that.
Dirty. I knew it was a mistake to pick Sweden.
You should have known.
I knew.
We're in Antarctica.
Your mother is talking with a polite, if somewhat frazzled clerk, when the little boy lets go of his train and it sails across the tiled floor and bumps into your shoe.
I want to hop off my chair.
Okay.
And grab it. And then kind of like stare at it for a second and then start like picking it up off the ground and flying it.
It's not how it goes.
Yeah, it has wings.
No, it's a train. Trains go on tracks.
Oh, it grew wings. It's special now. See? Come on, now it can go anywhere.
Trains only go to stations.
Oh, it goes into the cities in the sky.
There aren't any cities in the sky.
Yeah, there are.
Where?
Look up. Well, no. There's a roof. Come outside. I'll show you.
The guard who's standing by the door just glances over, and there's a very slight shake of his head, as in, no, nobody's leaving this place. Not until your business with your parents have been concluded. But the little boy's mother's like, she wants to play pretend. It's okay. Go on.
Okay, so imagine we're outside, and you look up, and see the clouds?
Yeah?
Okay, so they're not clouds.
What are they?
They're holding palaces. But it's hidden, and you can only see it if you look really closely.
Thankfully, you do have an audience who is paying attention. The toucan that occasionally visits the side of your bed and absolutely adores nibbling at the cactus that grows in your window at home, is listening, and he's nodding very wisely everything that you're saying. Of course there are cities in the sky. He's been there. Of course they're in the clouds. How else would they stay afloat?
I know, right?
Okay, so there's cities in the clouds, but if there aren't tracks, then a train can't get there.
But that's why it has wings.
But trains don't have wings. Look, and he reaches out and he tries to take the train.
No. Look closer.
It's my train, and I say it doesn't have wings.
Well, you're stupid.
Don't call me stupid. I'll call you stupid. Fucking bitch. I'll fucking kill you. So he hears that, and he just he balls his fists for a second, and he reaches out and he snatches the train. The toucan looks down and tuts.
I didn't want to play with his stupid train anyway.
He can't see the truth.
No. Come on, let's go play over there.
Who are you talking to?
None of your business.
Weirdo.
Come on, let's go.
Your brother stands up, walks over to the kid, crouches down, and he says something very quietly. And the kid looks up, and there's this fear in his eyes for a second, and then he turns around, he walks back to the protection of his mother, and continues playing with his train on the tracks on the ground that must exist somewhere.
I don't get how he can see tracks, but he can't see the wings or the palaces.
Are you saying this to the toucan or to your
To the
brother?
toucan.
Sometimes we only look once. I prefer to look multiple times.
Sometimes you need to cross your eyes.
Well, that wouldn't work very well for me. And of course, the toucan with eyes on either side of its head, crossing its eyes just doesn't quite work the same way. But when he opens his wings, you see that his feathers continue to change color underneath. And then when he folds them back up, he nestles his head back down. Tell me more about the cities in the sky.
Well, I just learned of their existence. I like that word, existence.
It's a big word.
I learned it all by myself.
Your brother looks back. You talking to Peeps again?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Good point.
Don't listen to that other kid. Okay?
I wasn't going to.
He has that slight irritation in the back of his eyes. The ones that you know that he'll defend you, but at the same time, sometimes he doesn't know what for or why. He goes back and he sits down with his dad, who is been completely oblivious to this entire exchange.
So I was just about to fall asleep last week. And I was thinking that if we see the moon at night, that means somebody has to turn it on, right?
It is only an inevitability of logic.
So who turns it on? And who turns on the sun?
Who do you think?
The people in the clouds. And they have huge castles and no tracks.
Castles in the sky?
Yeah.
Perhaps one day I'll visit a castle in the sky.
You could.
And we will tell them why such castles exist, why they're built.
Can I go with you?
Of course.
You have wings.
You don't.
Not yet. I'm growing them though. Every day I do my wing exercises.
Important. I, for one, have made sure that my wings have grown every year since I was born.
How do you make sure?
Well, sometimes when I'm feeling lonely, I'll go to a tree and I'll wrap one of my rings around a branch and hang for 3 days.
3 days?
And then, when I am finished, I go across with my other wing and hang for 3 days, because it's very important that they stay the same size.
But how do you just hang there? Don't you get hungry or sleepy or?
You would be surprised what a tree is willing to do for a friend.
I'd like to be friends with a tree. Do you think I want to be friends with me?
You have to be very patient with a tree. They live a very long time, so they don't make friends easily.
I can be patient. And I kind of like glare at the kid, in the corner.
The kid looks up and sticks his tongue out at you. Your mother comes back from the gate. It will be about an hour.
Can I go play outside? I won't go far, I promise.
I have to stay here, and so... Gerald, your father looks up. Do you mind just watching her outside? Of course. And he closes his book and he tucks it into his jacket. The jacket that he wears, whether it's cold, hot, freezing, boiling, doesn't matter. Always, always, always with his jacket. He says it's very important for him. It's a jacket that contains all of his wishes and all of his words. Come on, little droplet.
Come on, Peeps.
And Peeps flies over and lands on your arm, and your brother just rolls his eyes. And how's Peeps feeling today? as he walks over and opens the door.
Peeps is displeased this is taking so long.
Honestly, to expect me to stay inside for this period of time, it's interminable.
Interminable?
Interminable.
What does that mean?
Without end.
Interminable. Interminable.
Now, come out here and see so much. But why don't we just take a moment to stop and listen? And he sits down.
What are we listening for?
And your brother sits down. Well, you hear music, right?
Yeah.
But there's more than just the music. Music isn't alone. In fact, there's very, very few times that I think that you'll ever hear music alone. Sometimes it comes with voices. Sometimes you can hear the street, the sky. How does the music change? Where are my wishes? And he starts patting his pockets. Where are my wishes? Reaches in and he pulls out a hard candy. Now, this is my wish. But I'll give it to you if you promise to take very good care of it.
I will guard it interminably.
Reaches forward and he places it in your hand, and then he looks around and finds another one and hands it to Eric, your brother. I remember when I got these wishes, it was a beautiful... It was a beautiful... It was a cave. I remember it was a cave. And I remember the woman who gave me these wishes said that it was because I had accomplished a great deed.
What did you do?
I don't remember. I don't remember. It was so long ago, but she said that from then on, whenever I wore my jacket, I would always have my wishes and my words. So I have my wishes, and then he opens his book, and I have my words, and again, just staring off into the distance as he's writing.
Do everybody's wishes look like this?
I'm sorry, what?
Do everybody's wishes look like this?
I don't know. What do you think? Peeps is like, of course they don't look like that. Not all wishes look the same.
I think they're making wishes. I point at the musicians.
Your brother's just like, you're so weird. You're so weird.
Eric,
They're making music.
they're making wishes.
They're playing a guitar and singing. That's nobody's wish. Wishes are things like wanting $1 million.
That's a stupid wish.
Like, you have a better wish?
No, but I will.
You don't even know what you wish for.
Wishes are important.
Yeah, and you don't even know what you want.
You just wished for $1 million. That's nothing. That's pieces of paper.
Okay, I wish for $10 million.
Oh, fun. Stupid.
Then what do you want?
I will get back to you on that.
I'll get back to you on that. Oh,
Go back inside.
No. Your father has tuned out. He is just writing in his book, and he has that, again, that distant look. He's not looking at the page, and he's probably not even really paying attention to you or Eric.
Come on, peeps.
Yes. Let us go and see what is over there. A tree that perhaps we could win friendship.
And I want to get closer to them.
Ooh.
The musicians, peeps.
Musicians can seemingly play anything. And while you can't understand when some people are asking for certain songs, no matter what anybody asks for, they immediately start up on that. Peeps is nodding his head, just as much as he can. And you could swear even that the clouds above are tilting just a bit so that the cities can hear just a little better.
$1 million can't do that, peeps.
I'm not even sure what a dollar is.
Me neither.
Sophie! Sophie, come on!
That's Eric.
Yeah.
What?
Mom's gonna be done soon. Can we just, hurry up?
I'll be right there.
Sophie!
Quiet.
And he walks over.
No.
I keep walking up to the musicians.
You're not allowed to tell me to be quiet. I'm bigger than you. You have to listen to what I say.
What did Dad say?
Dad says you have to listen to me.
No, he didn't.
He did
You're
so.
lying.
And he shoves you in the shoulders enough that you're driven back into the tree. It's more shocking than painful. But for a moment, he's exerting his own power over you.
Ow!
And he's much bigger than you. 3 years, right?
Yeah.
At that age, that's a lot. I told you you have to listen to me.
Leave me alone.
So you can stay here with your music.
Leave me alone.
There aren't any castles in the sky, you know. What do you think happens when it rains? The clouds go away. Everybody in those cities are dead. He turns around and he just starts walking back. Your father did not notice this exchange either. No. Your brother doesn't know anything.
Maybe he's right.
I'll take you.
How?
Well, grab onto my feet. And he starts beating his wings, and it's not going anywhere. He's not nearly strong enough.
Peeps, you're not strong enough.
Well, I used to be. Back before the storm.
I hate Eric.
Hate's a very important word. Are you sure it's the one you mean?
He hates me.
How do you know?
He doesn't want to be around me. No one wants to be around me except you.
He doesn't see what you see. He doesn't hear what you hear. He's jealous of you.
I don't think so.
Sophie. Your mother emerging with a temporary document in her hand that she's waving around and that the wind starts snapping at, and then she quickly grabs it and stuffs it into her purse. Sophie, come on, I need to get back to the museum.
I turn to look at the tree that I've been leaning up against. If there's a little hole in the tree, I want to take the wish and put it inside.
and just put my ear up against. I wish I could talk to you.
Sophie, hurry up. And then
I'm
your
coming,
father,
Mom.
come on, Droplet.
I'm gonna look at the tree very.
Is its
warily.
branches closing in a little bit? Or is that just the wind? It's almost impossible to tell. But at this point, Peeps has decided to fly back to join the rest of the family who can't see him.
And I want to turn my back on the tree and go back to the family.
You do indeed spend the rest of the day at the museum. Your mother does have an exhibit there after all, and it's important that she's able to fulfill her obligations.
Any chance we could see a rendition of this performance art piece that she did at the museum, John? Or
Your mother's performance art piece involves her being shackled by her arms and her ankles
Dear
to the
God.
ceiling, wearing a magnificent dress made out of millions of feathers. And even Peeps donated one, or at least that's what he says he did, and that's what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother does take very good care of that feather, even though you suspect that she can't tell that it changes colors, unlike the rest of them. And as she hangs, everybody who comes to see her gets to write down something on a piece of paper, which they hand to her, and then she folds into a crane and lets it go until there's hundreds, thousands of them hanging from fishing wire on the ceiling, accompanying her on her flight. It's very beautiful.
it is. I appreciate it. I feel very proud of my mom.
Now, obviously, you don't spend your entire time just watching her. Your father does take you around to the other exhibits, paintings mostly, but there's a garden outside with a labyrinth. Do you know the difference between a labyrinth and a maze? In this particular context.
In this particular context.
So a labyrinth is it's a winding path that looks kind of like a maze, but there's only one path. There's no choices. And the point is to walk the entire labyrinth itself. And it's just something that you just have to keep going and going and going until you eventually get to the center, and then you return back. It's meant to be a kind of a meditative or a relaxing journey, as opposed to a puzzle to be solved. I don't see the point. I can simply fly over.
Well, then you can simply fly over.
So
I'm
you
going
want
through.
to walk the path.
Yeah.
Why?
Because who knows what we'll find? What?
Haven't you already found what you're looking for?
No.
What are you looking for?
I don't know.
Well, does that worry you?
It'll come to me. I wish everybody else could see this too.
Why are you so intent on sharing something?
They seem so sad. And I think it's because they think this is all they have.
Isn't it?
No. But they don't get it. So I have to show it to them.
Eric, by the way, is just running straight across the labyrinth. As if he doesn't even recognize that there's a labyrinth at all.
Come on, peeps. We are treasure hunters and explorers. And we're going to get to the heart of all this.
If you insist.
Scout on ahead.
I'm a very good scout.
I'll bring up the rear with my sword and shield.
It's now Sunday, April 12th, 1998.
Oh, shit.
And you are outside the Sydney Opera House
Oh, fun.
in... Where do you think?
I'm thinking Brisbane.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, shit. In Stockholm, Sweden.
So, in 1988, how old would you be?
I would be 8 years old.
Your father's incredibly nervous. He's pacing outside. The Sydney Opera House is located basically on an island, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are places that you can move around, and he is pacing. His jacket, as always, on him. But in April, it's still pretty hot in Sydney. And he's sweating, and he's got a collection of papers in his hand that he keeps pulling out and looking over and then stuffing them back into his jacket. Your brother and your mother are nowhere to be seen, but of course they're waiting inside. You know that your father, for the first time, is going to be delivering a selection of his poems alongside some other famous poets. But this is the first time that he's done it in front of an audience this large, in a venue this prestigious. Of course, what he doesn't know is that he's rambling back and forth. The tiny winds are dodging his feet. These aren't flying winds like you've experienced other places. These ones, very tiny but very grounded, seem mostly amused by the fact that he's just trotting through where they are, and none of them are getting any like, they're not being stomped on. But, you know, they seem to be making a game of it, like trying to wait as much as possible until they scurry out from underneath his shoes, the ratty sneakers that your mother can never get him to get rid of.
Dad, be careful.
What?
You're gonna step on them.
Step on... I'm sorry. Step on what?
Never mind.
Wishes. And he reaches in and he pulls out one of the candies, and then before he pops it into his mouth, he thinks better and he offers one to you.
You take it.
Droplet, I'm not sure I can do this.
Sure you can.
I can't even... My mouth dries up, and I'm not very good at this. And to your memory, this is the first time that your father has ever admitted he couldn't do something.
You can do it.
I'm not convinced. All the signs say that I can't.
What signs?
I don't know. Droplet,
Did you use your wishes to wish that it would go good?
You're right. You're right. Let's wish. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out another couple of wishes and hands one to you. He unwraps it and he looks at it. I'm going to need you to wish really hard for me.
Okay.
And as you start to focus that wish, the candy becomes warm in your hand. And it starts to glow just a bit. Not hot. And you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that this wish, more than any of the other ones, is real. Well, here we go. This is foolish. My poetry's always been meant to be read. What matters is the position of the words on the page. How do I get that into the cadence of my voice? How do I...
I wish he would know he can do it.
You'll be good. I know that it's going to be long. It's not just me up there, but when we're finished, we'll go swimming in the ocean. Would you like that?
With the mermaids
Yeah, with the mermaids.
and Nessie. Ogo Pogo.
I don't think Nessie's around in Australia. Nessie lives in Scotland.
She can travel really far. There's water everywhere.
I don't think Nessie ever leaves Scotland.
That's just what she wants you to think.
Let's go inside. The performance goes very well. As near as you can tell, everybody applauds. Even Peeps,
Peeps doesn't like anything.
sitting in the rafters, seems content to listen to the entire thing. You see less of Peeps these days. He takes long trips and says that he can't always spend his time with little girls. But he keeps coming back, grumpy as he is. Some of the wints crawl underneath the door jamb, and they come in and sit and listen, but they're flighty little things, and after only about 5 minutes, they get distracted by another game that they've come up with, whose rules you could never hope to decipher. But true to his word, after the fact, he takes you to the beach. Your mother doesn't go. She's gone off with your brother, promising that if at some point it's okay, they'll come to the beach, but it isn't known for sure. But at the beach, there's a woman who's handing out, not selling, but handing out little pool toys, floating ducks. And when she hands one to you, she winks, and you can see for just a moment that her eyes are a bit like yours. No one else has had purple eyes like yours.
What's your name?
Well, people around here will say that my name is Brenda, but I have another name.
A secret name?
That's right. They call me Slink.
Slink.
You're not from around here, are you?
No.
Neither am I. I'm visiting.
From where?
I'm from a city called Los Angeles. City of Angels.
I look up at the sky immediately.
Actually down.
What?
Far, far down.
You're not from the sky?
From the water.
Like Nessie?
Little. I bet you can swim a very long way.
I can. Want to see? I like go to run to the water.
Your father is, for once, kept his notebook in his pocket, and he is watching you. Droplet not too far.
Okay.
When you dive into the water, it's warm and salty and powerful. You've swum in an ocean before, right? You've surfed before.
I have.
So you know
Surfed.
so you know that the ocean has a power behind it that lakes just can never match, right? Like tides alone, but just the massive power of a wave and the way that it can crest over and crash down on you. And after a time, another wave just comes up and smashes down and pushes you under and under. But underneath, there you don't see a mermaid, but you do see a merman. Or at least, it seems like he might be. He's swimming under the water, and he doesn't quite have feet like a tail, but his hands have webs in them, and his face is seeking. And he holds a finger up to his lips, and he opens a hand, and there's a bubble there, a bubble of air, which he hands over to you. And as you press it to your face, it doesn't pop like you're used to bubbles doing, but you can breathe from this one. It smells a bit sweet. And as he casts his hand around you, the ocean lights up with bioluminescence, even though it's not actually that late. The sun is only just starting to set. But all around you, the fish, the algae, the coral, they all light up to you. But it isn't the sight that is actually the most important thing, but instead you can hear underwater a song that you know no one has ever heard before. A song that could never be played above the water because it depends on the waves and the way that sound travels through this particular salinity and pH. And it's all for you.
Night. I want to concentrate super hard on trying to learn as much of it as I can, even though I don't play any instruments. I know that I want to try to get this, to hear it again. So I imagine that this bubble, if it hasn't popped, is in my hand, and that it's capturing some of that music.
Now, the more that you let it capture the music, the longer you're staying underwater without breathing.
It's true. But I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking of the music.
The merman, although by now you're almost certain that it's not a real merman, but something else entirely, approaches you as you're listening. And he reaches forward and he gives you a small kiss on your cheek. And then he swims away. Music ends. You're still floating underwater, but you draw the music into you, and it stretches to your toes, to your fingertips, right out to the tip of your nose. Almost like the feeling of that one time that you accidentally drank a quarter of a cup of wine.
Oops. It's okay, I mixed it with juice. And thus Sophia was born.
Do you ever come to the surface?
I do, reluctantly, but when it's clear that there's no more music to be had, I want to get back up there.
Your father has already started to wade out towards to where you are. He's still dressed in his sneakers that he refuses to take off. He's not wearing a bathing suit. But when he sees you come up and are apparently fine, he starts breathing a little easier. Until you see anger cloud his face. Sophia, you need to come inside. He doesn't call you Sophia.
I'm okay.
Sophie, I didn't know where you were. I thought you were in trouble. Come in.
I'm coming.
Slink, looking on, the sad shake of her head, turns around and starts walking up the beach.
Wait, Slink? Slink?
She doesn't turn back around. Her little bag full of duck toys bouncing on her back as she continues along. And she pulls her jacket around her, the gray offsetting the brightly colored ducks.
Dad, I was okay. There were mer people under the water. They played a song.
I was very worried about you.
I was fine.
I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know where you were.
I was with them. I was okay. I can take care of myself.
Not until you're older. Right now in Droplet, I'm the one who takes care of you.
I'm sorry.
The date is now Friday, December 31st,
Oh, shit.
1999. And you're not at the Sydney Opera House in Sydney. Now, you're in yeah. On December 31st, 1999, you're actually in Burlington, Vermont. It's cold, but not too cold. And the best part about it being not too cold is that when the snow falls, it clumps, and you can actually make snowballs. The biggest lie that television tells you is that whenever it's wintertime, it's always okay to make snowmen, and you can always pick snow up with your bare hands and throw it at perfect snowballs that explode in puffs. But anybody who actually lives in a winter climate knows that that's entirely not true. It gets too cold, and the snow gets powdery, way too powdery. You can't actually bunch it together. And snowmen, the balls just don't roll up the way that they should. And if you touch the snow with your bare hands, the only reward that you get is that your hand becomes uncomfortably cold and wet, red and stinging in the wind that inevitably starts to chap your lips. But this day, it is -1. Perfect. And you're allowed to stay up. It's a very special day. A day that will only happen, as everybody is so fond of saying, once in a millennium. Peeps, who recently has been spending more and more time around you, is very cross at the concept of this new millennium, stating, of course, that the new millennium actually begins January 1st, 2001, not January 1st, 2000. But everybody's so impressed by 3 zeros that even he somehow manages to get into the spirit of things. Trees evergreen around here. Well, some of them. There are others that, of course, all their leaves have long since fallen. Just hold enough snow that it's amazing to run over to a tree and just touch its bark and having the snow cascade around you as you're protected by the branches above. Almost as if it's just one snowfall for you. Trees have somehow opened up to you over the years, and even a few of them have dared said that maybe you might be an acceptable friend. But your brother's sickness has been getting worse. He's finding it more and more difficult to walk. And your mother has been spending more and more time away from what she's been trying to do with her life and taking care of him. Thankfully, money is not an issue. Your mother has been very successful with her art, and your father, of course, still manages to pack them in ever since his legendary first performance 2 years ago. But your brother has never shoved you again, because he doesn't have the strength to stand. So today he's seated on a bench close to a cabin where your family is staying all by itself for Y2K. He's wearing snow pants, which he believes is the ultimate injustice because a 13-year-old shouldn't have to wear snow pants, but it's the only way that he'll be able to stay out and stay warm. And so he's watching every once in a while, leaning over and dragging some snow over to him so that he can ball it up and throw it at you. But there's no malice in it this time. Just an attempt at normalcy, a game that kids can play. Peeps is shivering on the top of one of the trees. He doesn't like it when it's cold. He never has, but he'll put up with it.
He refuses to wear the jacket I made for him either.
Jackets are not dignified. Does your jacket have such color and vibrance?
You don't look very dignified when you shiver in the tree, Peeps.
I resent this. Besides, I'm cold-blooded.
I'll make you a hat.
I care not for hats. Who are you talking to?
No one.
And he launches a snowball, which misses.
Throw like a girl.
Show you. Gathers up more of the snow, picks it up, just starts launching it. He can still throw. He can throw like anything.
I run to the trees to protect me.
Crouched among the trees, there's a woman who has a very, very tight expression on her face. You can see that she's dressed in what looks to be white fur, although when you get close, it's very clear that it's not real. And she has these big, big, big white mittens. And she's crouched under a different tree. She looks up at you and she smiles. Don't suppose you have a wish, do you?
I wish I could make him better.
You used your wish already.
I just need to find another one. I heard there's a woman in a cave. And if you accomplish something great, she gives you some.
I'm here to take the coat back.
Peep's coat?
I need my wishes and my words back.
What?
I need you to go into the house and take your father's coat and bring it back to me. I need my wishes and my words
Who
back.
are you?
My name's Marley. And you'll do as you're told.
No, that's my dad's jacket. He worked hard for it. You don't need it.
You're a silly girl. Go inside, get the coat, and bring it back to me. Or else, he's never going to write another word again.
You can't do that.
Can't I?
He can write whatever he wants.
He used to belong to me. And I'll take him away from you. If you don't do as I say.
What are you... You're lying.
Do you wish to test me? I want you to look very deeply into your own self and realize that your father doesn't have anything beautiful attached to him at all. Your father is merely trying to twist the ugliness of the world into a lie that others can see, and I'm tired of giving him the ability to do that. He wasted his wish on you, and you wasted your wish on him, and so I want my wishes and my words back. And if you don't do it, I'm going to cut your stomach open.
I want to ball up a snowball. You can't have them. He makes beautiful things. And you're not taking them away from him.
He's created two things, one of which is already falling apart. I wonder, are you next?
I'm not going anywhere.
Very well. And she reaches down and she pulls a long, hook-shaped knife from her belt. And as she grips it, it looks sinister, as if it's pulling the light in and around you into it, and the already somewhat dark forest, illuminated by the cheery Christmas light-bedecked cabin, starts seeming very far away.
So my hand is still on one of the trees, and my grip is tightening on it. Protect us. Get out. This is your last warning.
She takes a step forward. Ugliness is everywhere. Why do you even think you can match me with one of those? She starts moving the hook-shaped knife in front of her face.
Because it's not a snowball.
What is it?
It's a fireball. And as soon as it connects with something as ugly as you, it'll take over you. Burn you up until there's nothing but ash.
For 10 years, your father worked for me. For 10 years, he slaved for me. I gave him that coat thinking he'd do something worthwhile, but instead he spawns two brats and lets words dribble from his fingers like nothing.
I'm going to count to 3. Calling back to something that my mom would always say to me. You better hope I don't make it to 3. 1, 2, 3. And launch the snowball as hard as I can, as hard as my little arms.
The snowball goes forward, and there's a wish that more than anything, this ball is not snow, but fire. And when it strikes, it bursts with such brightness that you can't see. But instead, all you hear is music. The same music that you heard on those streets of Stockholm. The same music that you heard in South Africa, Johannesburg. The music of Tibet, of Chile, Mexico City, Reykjavik, Sydney, underwater. And all of that music suddenly makes sense. Because everything that you saw, the clouds in the sky with the cities that turn on the sun and the moon, the trains with wings that fly, the winds with their games, and the fact that you could stay underwater, if only because of the help of one merman who may not have been. It's all real. And that isn't even a revelation for you, maybe. It's just a confirmation of what you already knew. But now, as your eyes start to readjust back to where they're supposed to be, You see whoever this Marley is fleeing away from you. But it's not because of the fire, but because she's afraid of something more powerful and terrible than anything that a simple fireball can be. And you see that the dagger that she was holding is now sunk directly into a branch of the tree as it has wrapped itself around you, shielding you. The knife feels still very cold. Not something that you should be touching.
I'm holding the tree as tightly as I can.
It is an honor to have served. And for the first time, the tree speaks a language you can understand.
Thank you.
It is earned.
Erd?
The defense of those who require it is a difficult and unending task. But the defense of beauty itself is enormous.
I couldn't let her. Dad has to write. I couldn't let her take it away.
Peeps, now perched on one of the trees and looking critically at the fleeing Marley. Do you think honestly that your father can only write if he's wearing a jacket?
Of course not, Peeps.
Then why not give it to her?
I couldn't let her have it. And just because he can write without it doesn't mean he will. He can't see what I see. He never could.
I do not believe that's true. Once upon a time, your father did see the world as you did.
Why would he give it up?
For your brother. For you.
I want to look over at Eric again.
He's still sitting on the bench at this point. He seems to be stockpiling snowballs.
Can I help him now?
He lived among those who would call themselves the Shining Host. But he could not stay in their service and raise a child at the same time. He left this world behind so that he could raise Eric and then you.
I guess I should be happy that he chose us.
Beauty is something that he is constantly trying to remember. Instead of something he constantly sees.
Can he see that he makes it for people?
I wouldn't know. I'm just a bird.
You're my best friend in the whole world, Peeps.
That will change.
No.
I wouldn't touch the knife if I were you, but I would make sure that no one sees it.
What is it? It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But is there not beauty in everything?
Not that.
Well, I suppose maybe what you should do is get very acquainted with everything else.
How do I do that?
Sophie! Your brother is calling in that sing-song. I totally think you can't see my snowball stash. If you like, we could go to the cities tonight.
Really?
If you want, right now. Sophie, come on!
I'm gonna play with him a little more. But we'll go tonight?
Sophie! And then you see him try to shift himself on the bench as if he thinks that he can get up, but his legs aren't strong today.
Coming.
You wouldn't go unarmed, would you?
This isn't gonna turn into a fireball, is it?
Do you want it to?
No.
Go. The snowball fight is brief but furious. After all, he does have a bench to hide behind, and he is very, very good at throwing these.
Oh, damn.
But after a moment, he stops. And he looks at your face, and this flicker of incomprehension crosses his eyes.
What?
What happened to you?
I was hiding in the woods. What? What?
Don't tell anybody I told you this. But you remember Dad's poem that he wrote 4 years ago? The one called Droplet.
It's my favorite poem.
For the first time, I think I see what he sees. Hey, it's almost midnight. Come here.
I'll sit next to him on the bench. Kind of stomp out the rest of the snowballs that he has stockpiled.
It's so quiet here. The snow's just muffling everything.
I know a song, if you want to hear it.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I do.
Okay. And I start to hum first and then sing. But I'm singing in this kind of broken way because I've never thought that this song that I heard under the ocean could have words to it. I'm trying my best to recreate it.
Your brother listens. Maybe for the first time without complaint or without fidgeting. But he listens. When the song is over, he doesn't say anything.
It was bad, wasn't it? You can tell me.
Just listen to the snow for a second. And let the world applaud you. And it's not with music, but with silence that you and Eric experience 3 zeros for the first time. It's not until much later that you get to meet Mab. And it's not until a little ways into the future that you'll get to learn what the wishes and words really are. And that's the moment that Sophia crystallized.
Yay!
So you get 2 experience for that.
Amazing.
So you get to throw that down on
That
there.
was positively delightful. That was
Closing the
better
gap.
than I could have imagined. Yeah. And Eric, like as in they experienced the new year, like from 1999 to 2000. Eric's not also a changeling.
First time I was in Stockholm, my little brother was hungover as fuck, my elder brother was too tired to be awake, and I was away exploring the trainway urinal that was just a wall, an actual wall. Well,
Were
the
you trying to
crosshair-
find platform 9 3/4 crosshair? I wouldn't be mad if you were.
It's a King's Cross station.
They have them at more stations, John. Come on. What, you think all the kids who go to Hogwarts leave from that one station?
Yeah, they
No.
do.
I think kids from other places come on different schools, damn it. Damn it.
Oh, Kung Fu Fenris, I'm sorry. Assist in a... Oof.
A fairy tale like Chrysalis. Yeah.
Well, yours was a bit different than the other 2.
Yeah.
For one thing, your life wasn't threatened. Oh, wait.
Yes, it was.
And for another thing, it didn't take place in the wintertime. Oh, wait. It was. But perhaps you knew what you were going for more than the other 2.
Well, the main thing that I wanted to hit with Sophia's Chrysalis is that she had always been a kid who imagined this other world. And so when she finally saw it, it was exactly as you said, more of a confirmation. More of a like, I knew it kind of thing. So I'm really glad that worked out because I wasn't sure how it was going to play.
So, Miss Rich, I will say the following. Eric is still alive.
Yeah.
He doesn't have full use of his legs, but he's still alive. But he's doing quite well, actually. I don't know if Sophia's ever talked to Incisor about crystallizing their...
I don't know if they ever did talk about their respective
Chrysalis.
Chrysalis. And Mistrich, as a fun little aside, this didn't get mentioned at all, but the reason why Sophia has melee 1 is because her brother taught her some stuff.
I will also point out that Slink and Marley are also both still alive.
No, this isn't Marley. Our Marley. No, Marnie. Oh,
That's
thank God.
Marnie.
Okay, right. I was like, what? Marley, why are you being such a biatch? But it's Marnie.
Peeps hasn't been seen in a very long time.
Peeps is out exploring the area around the equator. He has to draw a perfect line around the entire world. It's going to take him a while.
Well, that was 3 very different chrysalises.
Yeah, holy crap.
And I'm actually quite pleased about that.
Huh.
So thank you.
Thank you. This was delightful.
Folks, that's 3 up, 3 down. Let us never be said that we do not follow through on our promises. But we may not be able to make all of them by the new year. We wanted to, but it turns out that when you're bean ducking, it gets stuff that.
And
But
then
we will see
all
what we
the
can do.
commercials and
We
everything
might
else.
be able to get the podcasts through. We're hoping that at least just involves being able to sit down in a place. Don't forget that we still have Scott's one shot. That's coming up as well. And we also have this Friday, as a reminder, on this channel from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., an extra live donation stream where a bunch of us throughout the day will be playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I'm so excited.
The game that actually is possibly responsible more than anything else for bringing various members of the Twerkle together.
Big reason why we're friends.
Like a really big one. So it's kind of special for us. So join us.
Mr. Rich, I work 12 to 5. I'm like barely going to get to hang out.
But thankfully, right after that stream, what's happening?
Punchy at 6. I think we're not too far from the end of the game unless it's lying to us. So we'll
That'll be
see.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool to see. So I'm looking forward to that because then I get God of War back, but I'm still playing Spider-Man.
That's right.
Ugh.
And then Horizon. So I think we have tons
I
of
know.
time before you get God of War back.
I'm not anxious to get it back. I'm just, like, games are great. Games are great. It's a good day for games. Good time for games. If you haven't been caught up on the rest of the sessions that we have, they're all up at rpgclinic.com and on Elizabeth's YouTube channel.
Yes,
You can
I
see
have not
every-
posted the one from this past week, but I will.
Yeah, you can see every goddamn episode. They're all up there, and all of the Chrysalis sessions are there as well.
Yeah, they're just in the main Changeling playlist. So
Yeah. So you'll be able to see that there. And frankly, I might have to rewatch them. They were very interesting.
no,
I gotta do more of these.
I cannot wait. This is freaking cool. Like, you guys all seem to enjoy Chrysalis sessions, but yeah, like, was this something that was fun for you? Or were you all just being incredibly polite?
Yeah, maybe they are.
Maybe they are.
Maybe they're out Canadian.
Checkers.
Well, the crosshair isn't, as long as he keeps throwing that quote in
Right in
his
the
face.
gooch.
Still can't even. Hey, we gotta thank Entropy's disciple, Crosshair, coming in clutch. Shows up for the Chrysalis session, not even caught up on the rest of it. Still managed to be here. Hopefully you didn't get spoiled for anything. I don't think there's much to spoil
I don't think so.
based on where you are. I'm really glad that you were here, Rocky. I'm glad that all of you were here.
Yeah, Rocky, I
It's
hope you feel
awesome.
better, and good on you for staying home from work tomorrow, because it's better for you, and it's honestly better for your coworkers too.
Lo, Omnic, Kung Fu Fenris, all of whom subscribed as well. You know, we got some bits from the Crosshair. Thanks so much for all of it, but thankfully we get to keep going. Next session, I mean, we're technically now over, but next session we officially equalize the number of episodes that we ran for Exaltwitch. I don't see the ending in sight.
I want to see Incisors Chrysalis now. Is she crystallized at 8?
We'll see if we,
I'm so
we can get that
curious.
going. See you next time.
Bye. There is a castle on a cloud.